Now, if you're a startup nonprofit organization, you may be thinking, okay, all the legal and the tax and the governance stuff is a bit much. Like, I've just got a group of people here that want to go out and do some good charitable work, right? Is there an alternative to actually having to apply for our own tax exempt status? Or perhaps you are involved with starting a nonprofit organization and you know it's going to be a very long wait to get the determination letter showing that you're actually tax exempt. What do you do in the meantime to start operations and start raising funds? And this is where the idea of fiscal sponsorship comes in. So, fiscal sponsorship is the use of another nonprofit organization's tax exempt status and oftentimes some of their administrative resources to sponsor your project or your new nonprofit organization. So, as the sponsored project, you'll still be pursuing your mission, right? Your charitable purpose. You will typically maintain quite a bit of autonomy over the actual programming. And ideally, you really should still have a board of directors or an advisory board making the big picture strategic decisions. But the sponsoring organization will receive funds on your behalf and it will disperse those funds as needed for expenses associated with the project. The sponsoring organization also typically maintains the appropriate books and records. So, fiscal sponsorship allows newer organizations or even small organizations that aren't quite ready to take on some of the administrative burdens to start seeking donors, to start applying for grants, and especially grants that wouldn't otherwise consider you because you don't have that tax exempt determination letter. It can also be a really great way of testing the waters, right? And figuring out whether and to what extent donors are truly willing to support your project, what grants are really out there that you might qualify for, but also that you might actually get awarded, right? So it can be a really good way of seeing, okay, we've got a great cause, but can we really raise the funds to support that cause? In addition to the financial oversight, some fiscal sponsors also provide, back office services. So they might give you access to their human resources professionals so that you don't have to take on that task. They might provide you with office or meeting space. Some might even provide consulting or coaching to really help you think through everything that comes with running a nonprofit organization. So, fiscal sponsorship can be a great option for your smaller nonprofit organizations or even charitable projects that, for one reason or another, don't want to or aren't ready to take on the financial expense and administrative burden of forming their own organization and then applying for tax exempt status, right? For example, I still meet way too many entrepreneurs that they've got a passion project that they want to pursue. It has a charitable purpose, but they still fall under the misconception that they will own the organization and its assets. And the truth is, no one owns a nonprofit organization. Nonprofits exist for their charitable or other tax exempt purpose, and they have to operate exclusively for that purpose. And they don't really belong to anyone, even the founders of the organization. If the founder moves on or the organization ceases to operate, the assets of the nonprofit have to remain either with the nonprofit or with some tax exempt or charitable purpose. On the other hand, I'll meet entrepreneurs who are so focused on the mission that they don't have time or they simply overlook administrative issues like board meetings and keeping minutes and annual charitable registrations and regular Secretary of State filings and bookkeeping and did we send donor acknowledgement letters and annual information returns to the IRS. So if you know you're not ready to take on those types of compliance matters, then having a fiscal sponsor who can take on that administrative burden can free up your time to really focus on the actual mission. Now, neither of these types of entrepreneurs is bad, right? There's nothing wrong with, hey, I'm not good at the administrative side of things, but I'm really good at fundraising and pursuing the mission. There's nothing wrong with, okay, I thought I really wanted to do a great thing, but I realized that nonprofit's not for me. I want to be a business owner, right? But if administration isn't your strong suit, fiscal sponsorship can be a great way to fill in the gap. If you truly don't want to be a nonprofit and give up that ownership and control, but you want to pursue a charitable project, then fiscal sponsorship might be an option.